Okay, so it's cold in the city. Winter's arrived. You know, it's chilly outside. We're gonna get cold soon. So I figure I want to show how I make different sorts of soups and stews. So I'm gonna start with showing you how I make sopa de lentejas, or a nice lentil soup. And just with a quick adjustment, you could easily turn this into a stew. Okay, alright, so let's go over the ingredients. You know, when I make it, each time I make it a little differently. You know, sometimes I'll put in maybe, you know, sausage or bacon. Sometimes I'll put in mushrooms, other times I won't put in the mushrooms. Sometimes potatoes or yuca. So this is just a general idea. Yeah, you can follow this and you can put little variations to it. Alright. Alright, so let me show you the nice vegetables that I'm starting with on this occasion. I got 2 carrots that I chopped up pretty thick. Some potatoes. This potato was a medium small potato. Chop it up however you like. Got some white onions, some red onions. This was half of a medium red onion, and this was a small white onion. I got some green bell pepper back here. This was about 2 slivers. I may go back and get like a orange or yellow or red bell pepper to add that. It's up to you. 2 cloves of garlic. And usually I would also put in some cassava, some yuca, but I ran out of yuca, so we're gonna have to do without it. I also, because I have in my freezer some frozen vegetables, I'm just gonna add, this is about a little more than a 1/4 cup of different frozen vegetables. I thawed it out, rinsed it in water. It's got green beans in there, lima beans, corn, carrots. Alright? Optional. I'm doing this because I don't have my yuca. We're also going to use some sofrito or recaito. Remember, the sofrito or recaito, it's the green version or the red version. Green is recaito, red is sofrito, but the terms are interchangeable. The reason why I'm using the red version is because a friend of mine cannot have cilantro, so I'm going to bring some of this into work and share it with her and others. I don't want her to get sick. We have some tomato paste. I like to take it out the little can and half freeze it by, you know, keeping it in the section of the fridge in the back where you put your beer or drinks. So we're going to use a tablespoonful of tomato paste. That's tomato paste, not tomato sauce. And I have some lentejas. I actually have another bag here that I opened up. What I like to do is I like to keep it in old pasta sauce jars, or I think this is someone gave me this, I think coffee came in this, but I like to put it in glass jars. So I'm going to pour this into here, get it out that plastic bag. Ooh. 1 grain fell. I set a world record. We're going to use you can use a cup, half a cup, depending on how much you make. We'll get to that in a second. And lastly, I'm going to use some beef bacon. These are 2 slices. I'm going to slice them up. I would usually also use sausage. You can use, you know, if you want it to be completely filled with veggies, of course you can use any sort of, you know, vegetarian substitute. But I like to add in either bacon or sausage, turkey or beef. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of stir fry this with some recaito or sofrito in the pan with some olive oil. And lastly, you're going to need oil, olive oil. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything else. I don't have the yuca. Oh, chicken stock or vegetable stock. You want to use a nice stock. And I ran out, so I'm going to replace it with spring water. All right, but first let's get to the basics. All right, so of course, first of all, you want to rinse the lentils off without damaging the camera, right? So, no biggie. Just rinse them through water, cold water, and you want to kind of look through it to make sure there's no little like stones or whatnot. Because when they pick them and they process them, sometimes there may be soil or stones or, you know, different things in there. So that's all I'm doing here. This is about a cup, a little more than a cup of lentils. Nice amount. And that's it. Just a quick rinse. Cold water. I have this little container under it just to kind of dip them. And just checking that there's no foreign substance in there. Alright, so as my sink makes a funny noise, let's go on to the next step. Alright, to the stove, I have my pot. This is just a smaller sized sauce pot. Got my vegetables ready. I'm going to bring it up to heat. I'm going to start with medium heat. Get that water out of there. Medium heat. In that pot, I'm going to put a dash of olive oil. That's less than a teaspoon. You like that sound my wood floors make? Alright. We got the olive oil in there. Yeah, baby, talk to me. We're going to coat the sides a little bit. I'm going to bring the temperature down to a medium low. And in there, I'm going to put in 2 spoonfuls of either sofrito or recaito, whichever one you want. 2 heaping spoons, because you want the flavor that you can savor. Alright? Give it a mix. Oh man, it smells good already. Oh, and what I should have done, which you can actually do if you don't want to use olive oil, this beef bacon would let plenty of natural oils out. So let's get the beef bacon in there. I should have did this first, but either way, you're cooking it and you're getting the flavors all combined. Alright, so you're going to do this about 2-3 minutes. Cook up the beef bacon, fuse it with the recaito or the sofrito, and this way you have a nice base. We're going to start with this. Alright, I'm going to cover this. Lower the heat to low, 2 minutes. Alright, it's been 2 minutes and a couple of seconds. I'm just going to check on this. Oh man, it smells lovely. But I do want this beef bacon to brown a little bit. Now, of course, if I would have did the bacon first, then added the recaito or sofrito, and then a dash of olive oil, the bacon would have cooked up a little quicker. But it's Saturday, it's rainy, I didn't sleep well, so whatever. So I'm just gonna let it sit here another minute more, just to let it cook up a little more. Alright, we'll be back. Alright, my minute has passed. I'm gonna turn the heat down low. Now to this, I want to add the onions, the garlic, the green pepper, and the carrots. I probably should have organized this a little better, but whatever. Let's hold on to here. Just get the onions in there. Carrots, garlic, bell pepper, and I'm gonna stir them up a little bit. All right, let me organize this a little better. All right, the potatoes are off the plate. Get these bad boys in there. And what we want to do is just stir them around. Combine everything nicely. I'm gonna soften the carrots up a bit. Cook up the onions a bit. Cook everything up. Let the flavors fuse. You got that recaito or sofrito in there, which is gonna definitely do its job. You know, if I wanted to, I can add another spoonful of it, of the sofrito recaíto, but I'm happy with how it's looking. And if I were to do that, I would also add a dash more of oil, but we're fine. Alright, so I'm going to let these soften up a little bit, cook up, and combine the flavors. Is that annoying? Too bad, it got to be done. Cover it, 2 minutes. Low heat. I lowered the heat. Alright. Dude, I'm totally sorry. I forgot to show you the seasonings that I'm going to use. Alright, so you're going to, of course, have your basics. Salt and black pepper. I got to refill this little container. We're going to have some salt and black pepper. Garlic powder and onion powder. Okay, I said that in reverse, but that's fine. I'm also going to put in some ground coriander, culantro. We're going to go for a dash of parsley. If you have the thyme, please put in some thyme. Oregano. And a dash of cayenne pepper. You can use any other type of, well, I wouldn't use chili powder, but just a dash of cayenne pepper, not for the heat, but for the flavor. Meanwhile, I have my potatoes and those frozen vegetables on the side, and my spoonful of tomato paste. Alright, let's get back to the pot. Alright, I let this go for 2 minutes. Don't hurt me. I can see that the onions have kind of changed color. Everything is nice. Everything is combined. I should have put in more bell pepper, but we're going to leave it like that. And I also like mushrooms in my lentils, but we're going to leave that alone. Okay, so at this point, we got to add in our chicken stock. Now, unfortunately, I forgot to make stock last week. I usually like to make it a week in advance, refrigerate it, freeze it. So we're going to make a substitution with water, which is fine. So this here is 2 cups of water. Which is about 16 ounces. And to this, I'm going to add another cup of water. So you want to get, well, let's make that 1.5 cups of water, because this is going to thicken up. I'm going to, you know what, another cup. So we put in 4 cups of water, sorry. A little more than 4 cups of water. Give this a mix. The heat is low. I gotta bring the heat back up. So that's medium high, but more towards, yeah, medium high. And I want it to be more soupish than stewish. Well, that's how I feel right now. So we put in almost 4 cups of water, which would be like 2 of those packages of stock, like store-bought stock. We put a little more. So that is 4.5, close to 4.5 cups of water. The potatoes are going to thicken it. The tomato paste is going to thicken it. So that's alright. So 4.5 cups of water. That'll be about 2.5 of those packages of stock you may buy at the store. And I'm going to let this come up to a boil, and then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. Alright, so came to a boil, and I lowered the heat. Ooh, smells nice. Now what I'm going to do is, right in there, I'm going to put my lentils. How much did I say? Did I say it's 2 cups? This is about 2.5 cups. Put these bad boys right in. Give it a mix. Make sure I get all of them in there. And right now at this point, I'm going to put in my seasonings. Some salt. That's to your taste. The black pepper. To your taste. And you saw everything else that I'm going to put in there. Some parsley. This is about half a teaspoon. Some of the ground coriander. A couple of sprinkles. Onion powder, which is going to be about half a tablespoon. I like onion powder. Garlic powder, same, about half a tablespoon. The oregano, we're gonna make it about half a teaspoon of oregano. If you have the thyme, put in some thyme. How much? Same, half a teaspoon. And lastly, our dash of cayenne pepper. Dash! How much? This should be less than like not even a quarter teaspoon. This is it's really for the, like I said, for the flavor, not for the heat. You're gonna mix it. All right. And I'm gonna bring it back up to medium. Cover it and wait for it to come to a boil again. We're gonna come back. Alright, it's back to the boil again. I'm gonna lower it, and I'm gonna take advantage of all that heat to stir in my tablespoonful of tomato paste. And you're just gonna stand here for a minute or so, to get it dissolved in there. It took about a minute for this to come back up to a boil. And you just kind of want to feel it out to see if your paste has dissolved or is dissolving. Of course, when it comes up to that boil again, it'll further dissolve. Alright, I'm going to cover it. I'm going to let it come up to a boil, and I'm going to let it stay boiling for close to 10 minutes. Alright, because I want the lentils to cook out. It doesn't take long. And then I'm going to add my potatoes and the rest of our vegetables, which is that little thing of frozen vegetables that I put on the side. Otherwise it would be cassava or plátano or something else. But let me lower it here. And I'm going to let it boil low. Okay, 10 minutes have passed. It's been on this low boil here. Let's give it a look. Let's stir it around and mix everything. You have those little pockets of concentration. Let's give it a taste. The lentils kind of look like they're not fully where I want them to be. And also, let me taste it. It's okay. I just want a little more salt, because the issue is, remember, I used water instead of chicken stock. So I'm going to put a little more salt. And I'm going to let it stay on this low boil for another 5 minutes, and I'll come back and check on it. Okay. Alright people, I'm sorry. I actually took a phone call, so this has been over 10 minutes. That's my bad. But you can see, oh man, it smells so lovely. This broth kind of thickened up a lot. The lentils look delicious. Now I'm going to add my potatoes and anything else you want to put in there. Yuca, platanito. But like I said, I'm going to put in, that's a lot of carrots. Putting in these frozen vegetables, because just to kind of like substitute. So we got green beans in there, lima beans, a little bit of corn. Alright, and you're just going to let this go to soften up the potatoes. So I'm going to cover it and let it go another at least 10 minutes. But you can see this broth kind of thickened up here. And you know what I should do? Give it a taste. Let me use my other spoon here. Really, really good. So, depends how you want it. You want more, you know what, actually, I am going to add a little tiny bit more of this cayenne. We don't need much. Bam! Wasn't there a chef that used to say that? Wait, let me get a different spoon to stir it in. I ain't nasty, son. Alright. So, low boil. Cover it. I'm gonna let it go 10 minutes to soften up the potatoes and further merge the flavors. Okay. Alright, so our time has passed here. Let me serve myself some of this delicious sopa de lentejas. Oh yeah. I turned it down completely. You'll see the lentils have thickened up. I tested the potatoes with a fork, and the fork runs right through it. Let's see, I want less potatoes. Let me get some of the liquid. Less potatoes. And you can see here it's very hearty, very delicious. And I'll serve it with like any other soup that I'll eat. Some white rice or something else on the side there. I like to squeeze in. You know, let me go sit down and reposition this camera. All right, so as I said, or I was trying to say, I'll enjoy this as I enjoy any other sort of soup or stew that I'll make. So I'll serve it along with some white rice. Got my white rice there. But you can see how hearty and how thick and delicious this is. And and what I'll usually do is I'll squeeze a little bit of lime in there. And get some hot sauce in there, and it'll make it even more delicious and more satisfying. Give it a mix. And you know, you can put whatever other vegetables you like. As I mentioned before, I didn't have mushrooms. I would have enjoyed some mushroom in there and some yuca, but we work with what we work with what we have. Oh man, it's so good. All right, so this is how I make sopa de lentejas. Let me enjoy this. I deserve it, man. Man. Get a piece of this beef bacon up in here. You just gonna watch me eat? Alright.